Hello everyone, I'm Roy. It's great to see you in the video. And today I'm going to talk about my reading program design proposal. And my topic would be exploring 3 different genres of written language. As you can see on the bottom right side, there are 3 cute icons. One is email, the other one is blog post, and the graph reports. So I'm going to talk about these 3 different genres of written language. And are you ready? Let's go. Here's the outline of my presentation. First of all, I'm going to talk about the introduction, and 4 aspects will be covered, such as needs assessment, target student population, learning goals, and topic selection. And on the next section, we will be talking about literature review. I'm going to present the summary of the key theories, models, or modules that inform my project. And in the end, I'm going to show you my module design, and you can see the overview, pre-test, present and teach, guided practice, and post-test in my self-designed online reading module. Okay, so let's talk about the introduction first. My target student population would be 12th graders in senior high school, and they all come with varied writing abilities and experiences, and they all have access to electronic devices such as computer, mobile phones, tablets with the internet connectivity. And they will have basic writing skills, but may not have extensive experiences with various genres of writing such as emails writing, blog post writing, and graph reports writing. Because most of the time, English teachers will cultivate students about their ability to write academic essays. For example, such as contrast and comparison essay, expository essay, argumentative essay, etc. So they will have this kind of opportunity to practice email writing, blog post writing, and graph reports writing. This kind of out of classroom learning. So I'm going to help them to learn these kinds of abilities through this online module. And I will provide guidance to help them understand the nuances of these 3 genres and practice effective writing. And here comes the learning goals. First one is that they can cultivate the ability to compose written pieces effectively within these 3 genres, and they can apply genre-specific writing conventions such as format, tone, and style. And they can also recognize the importance of audience awareness in writing. And the topic that I select is exploring and understanding various writing styles commonly used in different contexts, from informal social media communication to formal writing such as emails or graph reports. And I hope that in this way they can build up their writing skills and prepare for various real-life writing tasks. Okay, so here's the second part, the literature review. And the first one, maybe most of you are familiar with, is from the Reading Rockets 101. This chart includes all the elements of writing, and you can just take a look at it. The first one is the mechanics of writing, for example, how to write, how to type, and as well as the spelling, the grammar, the sentence structure. And the second one is about text generation. It's about the word choice and the clarity of expression. And the next one is about the process when we write. First of all, it's about brainstorming the ideas, and then we put them into written form. It's about the draft, and then we keep revising and editing, and then we proofread before we publish. That's the sequence. And the most important part is about the writing knowledge. We have to pay attention to the audience, the genre, and the voice when we are writing. So here comes another important part. Is about the characteristics of written language. From Brown and Lee, these 2 researchers, They pointed out that there are 6 types of characteristics. The first one is the permanence. It says that written language is a permanent form of communication. It's a record that can pass on and on. And the second one is the production time. And we all know that writing typically takes more time for composition and revision compared to the spoken language. And the next one is about the distance. Well, written language can bridge geographical and temporal distances. And next one is about the complexity. Written language is really complex because we can have intricate ideas, arguments, and details in longer and structured sentences. And next one is vocabulary, that it can use words and phrases that are less common in the everyday conversation, so as to enhance precision and clarity. And the next one is formality. For example, writing blog is informal. However, writing emails is somewhat formal, right? And these 6 characteristics are shown from the research of Brown and Lee. And then from the research of McGrail and Davis, they say that teachers can use blogging platform as a tool to help students develop their voice and ownership while exercising agency as bloggers. Agency means the doer of the action, right? So that they can control what they want to include into their blogging activities. And they can take responsibility for their thoughts and work as well as the content in their blog. That's the ownership. And the voice is how they can convey their thoughts in a distinct and personal manner. Okay, and the next one is about the email text that involve audience interaction. Students can produce syntactically and lexically more complex text. It's really interesting to know this fact. So that's why I included this kind of email activities into my online reading module. And the next one is about the academic graph writing. And the research showed that graph tests can elicit writers' content knowledge as well as the academic writing ability. And that's also why I include this into the online learning module, because in one way they can practice their writing skills, and on the other hand they can also prepare for the GPT high intermediate level, the writing section, also the TOEIC writing section, also this kind of graph reports found in IELTS test. So they can, one way to cultivate their writing skills, and the other way is to cultivate their and help them prepare for the exams. And these 5 are the literature review for my online reading module. Next, I'm going to show you my module design. I'm going to use Google Sites to create my website, and I'm going to incorporate Jamboard and Padlet to serve as a shared document platform for the users to give peer reviews. And next, I'm going to use Google Forms to collect feedbacks, comments for revision from the participants. And I also use Google Forms to conduct pre-test and post-test. So you can see that here's the overview. In this module, you will learn to understand 3 different genres of written language, and you can also adapt writing styles and tone for different genres. And you can practice writing in emails, blog posts, and graph reports. And here's the pre-test. I use Google Form, and you can take a look at it. The total score of the pre-test is 100, and there will be 10 multiple choice questions, 10 points each. And there are 2 short answer questions, but they will not be counted because I just want to know whether they have this kind of writing experiences or not. So here comes the question. What's the primary purpose of an email? You can just skim through it. Okay? And the two short answer questions. Have you ever written any emails, blogs, or graph reports before? If so, which one do you write the most often? And the next one is, what kind of written language do you find the most unfamiliar with and why? Okay, so here comes the present and teach part. And first of all, I'm going to present the pertinent examples that with images. And then I will deliver clear instructions. And then I will demonstrate steps in writing emails, blogs, and graph reports. And at last, I will provide recommended words or phrases in writing. And I will take writing emails for example, because if I'm going to include all the three components, they will exceed the time limitation. So I'm going to take the writing emails for example. And as I mentioned, I will present the pertinent example with images first, just like this. And then I will tell them about the instruction that is really clear and precise. And you can use your skim reading ability, the strategy, to go over it, because due to the time constraints, I'm not going to give a detailed explanation. And then here are the steps to write an effective email. And the next one is the recommended words or phrases that they can use in writing an email. For example, there are subject line, greeting, body, closing, and signature. These 5 elements, components in email. If you are really interested in it, you can pause here and you can have a closer look at it. And then next part is about the guided practice. Well, there are 3 activities. The first one is the interactive email simulation. And in this activity, learners will be provided with a scenario, and they will play the role of both the sender and recipient. And they will write and send an email, and then practice responding to the email they receive and continue the conversation. And students may download and apply Grammarly, the grammar check, to check the quality of the writing. And this is how it looks like. The Grammarly is really useful to help us be aware of the errors that we have in our writing. And there will be the overall score, and as well as the correctness, clarity, engagement, delivery, etc. And this is really beneficial and a powerful tool. And the second activity is about the collaborative blog post creation. And I will use Jamboard and Padlet in this activity. So that students will need to create their own blog post on any topics they like. And they will use a shared online document, for example, Padlet or Jamboard, so that every user can see others' posts. And they will need to write down the introduction, main content, and conclusion, and give feedback, comments to at least 3 other users' posts. And they will have to rate their post and their peers' posts based on the self-evaluation and peer review rubrics. Okay, and the next activity is about the graph report data interpretation. It's that learners will be offered a set of graph reports with data and narratives, and they will be asked to analyze and interpret the data. And they need to write down the interpretation on Google Docs. And so that every user who practices this writing through this online module can see others' work with distinct and diverse perspectives and learn from different ways to compose the writing. And that's mutual learning. And here's the post test, also the Google form. Okay, so the same one, 10 multiple choice questions. But in the last part, I will ask the learners to write either the email or the blog post, or even they can choose these graph reports. So there are 3 different types. So let's ask that, imagine you are faced with one of the following real-life scenarios. Just choose one scenario and decide whether you will write an email, a blog post, or a graph report to address the situation. Okay. So this part will have 20 points. Okay. And how about the pilot test and feedback? Well, this online learning module will be distributed to the first-year university students, freshmen, who just graduated from high school. And their feedback and comments will be collected through Google Forms. And here are the references. And that will be the end of today's presentation. Thank you all for listening. And I hope that all of you enjoy this presentation and the video. And I'll see you next Monday. Bye.